let's use the truth against them. That's what I would say. Thank you.
Okay, I've been given the email addresses that you can send your evidence to. It could be in a document format, video, etc. Send to Jom Pantau, spell it out, JOMPANTAU @komas.org. Yeah? Sorry? KOMAS, komas.org. Sorry. All right. Okay. I repeat. Jom Pantau, JOMPANTAU @KOMAS.org. Got it? All right. Thank you. We still have time for some questions. Yes, the person in yellow. Can I see the indication for hands for those who still want to ask some questions, just to get, all right, 1, 2, 3.
Can I know where the donation pouch is? That's Bersih's property, so please take care.
Okay, Richard, the donation pouch makes its round. I hand over the floor to the person in yellow.
If 23, I think we should go for a bit more, 40, just to be safe. But whatever the numbers is, yeah, if the petition, if there's enough critical mass, all right, you could have a change in government because you have to have a re-election. And they must have sent the workers back to the estates already by that time. So it's possible. It is possible, but there has to be a critical mass.
Bersih urged at the hearings of those petitions. Isn't it possible that we have the critical mass you're talking about? I think the question is, do we have evidence in at least 23 constituencies? Turn it around.
Sorry, I'm still trying to recover from doing all the punch-out briefing. I just want to raise some questions. Make a point about the medium term and the long term. But first of all, I'd like to correct something that Gerald said. That he said.
Sorry, your name, please.
My name is Jim Kong from DJ. You said that we've been working under the wrong system, a flawed system for 50 years. I'd like to correct that. I mean, the first constitution that we had, although it was not perfect, it did provide for no difference more than 20% between constituencies. That was later increased to 30-40% and eventually taken away altogether. So under the first constitution of Malaysia, Pakatan would have won this election. All right, let's be very clear about that. Okay. Second thing is that I'm glad about what Andika has just intervened, because if we had gone onto the streets angry as we are, we would have been the irrational people that Najib was talking about. And there's no way in hell I'm going to say that my cause is as good as those thugs that UMNO sends over. Okay? We have to put together this evidence. I fully agree with it. There will be time for street action. I fully agree with that. I, for one, I have finished work. I'm not working at the moment. I'm available to help. All right? I will delay. I have a lucky I'm not going to work immediately, so I can delay that. Okay? Another thing that I'd like to bring out, okay, in a longer term, this thing that's just been brought from very, very strongly to me. We are all here in this room. I will consider all of us as middle class, okay, a bit more internationally orientated, schooled in probably Western jurisprudence. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, and most of us are not, but we do understand Western jurisprudence, okay. We need to reach out to the other Malaysia for whom 500 ringgit makes a difference. Okay, I do not want a Malaysia where, like what Charles Dickens once described London, one half of the city lives not knowing how the other half dies. Okay, we have got a divided nation. It is not Chinese and Malay. It is not by race. The race did not matter, but what it does was there is a whole lower class of people who economically deprived, and I believe they were deprived for a reason. They were deprived in order that they could be grateful to the country. So our leaders did that. We need to reach out to them and heal this country as one. Without which this country will fall apart as quickly as we win the election. That's all I have to say. And one more thing, sorry, in a medium term, there's a thing I forgot, okay? I do not believe that we're going to wait 5 years for the next election. Right? First of all, hopefully we have, it won't, correct me if I'm wrong, it will not be by-election, it will be re-election, okay, of those constituencies under dispute, re-election, okay, at worst, okay, at worst, even if we lose those court cases, all right, it will be the next 3 years, because Muhyiddin, God help all of us. Muhyiddin would want his mandate within 2 years, and that means the next election is no more than 3 years away. Okay, the guy is arrogant enough to believe he can win in 3 years. We have to make sure that all our pachas are well trained enough. Not just here. I mean, I was in PJ. The pachas in PJ, no problem. Okay, but then again, look at it. Okay, the constituency that I voted, well, I didn't vote. I didn't have a chance to. Bukit Bagasing, there was only a 4% increase in electorate. You know very well they're not interested in it. For those that is at high risk, that is what Nurul had to go through. Okay, those are the ones that we have to make sure that the pachas are fully trained. I've seen parties that doesn't give correct hits to the pacha. Alright, didn't give correct training to the pacha. Even for those that in my area, which I think is pretty better trained, there's still some areas lacking. But I can imagine some other areas. Alright, we have to make sure that those pachas were trained. And the next few months, at the very, it could be as early as the next few months, we have to do those trainings. Right.
Good evening. My name is Sean Woon, and I want to start by saying two things. I am a Pakistan Rakyat supporter, and I want to apologize for asking this question. Pakatan Raya, knowing fully well all the traits that we are alleging BN to have done, that has just recently committed, despite all this knowledge, Pakatan Raya participated in the election. Right? We knew the game is rigged, we participated in the game. And now, and then during the campaigning, some of our leaders were very sure we're going to win. In fact, at 8 p.m. on Sunday, Anwar announced that it won. Right? But then, the result turned, we are alleging the tricks that we suspected happened and we lost. And now we are crying robbery. Wouldn't you think there's something wrong with that approach? Why did we play in a game that if we really truly believe the game was rigged, why did we play in the first place? And then if we played, why are we screaming robbery now?
We didn't play, they will run all over you. Yes.
We've addressed 3 questions from here. I would like to address an online question. Okay, it is 10:35. Can we carry on until 11 and just a little bit more? Shall I people? All right, great. Okay, question 4. This is a similar question as the one that you mentioned. It's in the same grouping. What happens if opposition decides to boycott GE13? Can BN declare a victory unilaterally? That's one question. The other question is how to fix gerrymandering. How to fix gerrymandering? Maybe you can answer that. How to reshuffle the procedures? What is the procedure to do so? Why was BN not disqualified with evidence and statistics that we have? I don't think we need to answer that question because we've addressed the questions of election petitions, etc. With that, I would like to maybe give the microphone to Haris to answer the question about why are we playing in a game that's rigged, as well as if you want the gerrymandering question.
I said this again and again. Pakatan was not cheated. I said this is all my drama. It is not Pakatan that is cheated in Raya. You have 2 parties out there asking for our vote. And it is the Raya that is cheated. I can only say this. Much effort was made, and I know this personally, to share what we had garnered over the last 6 months. You can only take a horse to water. You cannot force it to drink. That's all I can say to answer. With the moderator's indulgence, I'm going to address a question that seems to be popping up again and again, if you don't mind, about what do we do? Now, yesterday actually, I reached the point where I decided I was going to pack my bags and leave this country. Why? I'll tell you why. Because I got tired of looking at Facebook postings that suggested that we take this decision and we work to tackle the problem 5 years from now. There was almost a willingness to accept that even as we've been cheated, Kesara, inshallah we fight again in 14D. But I'll tell you why I'm here. Because I made a pledge to the 40% marginalized. So when we spoke of Jim, yeah, it's them. So middle class, we'll accept this and go back to our middle class homes, our middle class jobs, and our middle class clubs, and our middle class kopitiams.